Sweet Adeline ideas for choosing music. So I'm going to be running this by a music judge or two to make sure that I've thought about things and come up with ways to make this work and things that actually make sense. So the first and foremost thing is sing what you want to sing. You have to like what you're going to sing and you have to enjoy it. With that being said, there are three target audiences, right? There's you, the singer, there's the audience, and there's the judges. And while you might think those are all the same, and if you hit one, you'll hit all of them, no, because we have novelty songs that are in the tenor range, for example, or we have songs whose format just does not fit Sweet Adeline requirements, for example, for a barbershop. Now, BHS is slightly different from Sweet Adeline. They generally are the same in terms of the chording. They're not the same in terms of structure, but they both will do the same thing of, if you can sing it well, they don't really care what you sing. There's no such thing as something that is non-contestable. There are still things that will get you disqualified. Anything that's patriotic about any particular country, anything that's religious. So you can't sing Christmas songs on the competition stage, for example. So don't even try. Those are two. Okay, so given the fact that you have these three audiences, judges, audience, and yourself, you want to sing something that you want to sing, that you as a quartet have some kind of connection to, that you can convey. Singing it just because the previous winners of your region scored really well doesn't mean that you're going to score well, because they may have had an emotional connection to it that you didn't have. The audience may also really, really love the song, and the judges might not so much. So the audience is going to be more forgiving of things like sync errors or internal sync errors, or possibly not having enough forward motion, that the judges are not going to be. So the judges are going to be a higher standard than an audience ever is. An audience will always love you. You're up there singing, and that's so happy that you're up there singing. But judges are also looking then for what's the quality bar, and how can we make sure that quality bar is maintaining what the organization is looking for. So, are you singing for a score? Are you singing for you? Are you singing for the audience? I think if you ask any judge, they'll always say sing for you and sing for the audience, and then sing it really well so that you get a good score. Because if you're only singing for a score, you're really going to actually alienate the audience, and you probably won't get as good a score, because you might be technically really good, but emotionally you're not making the connection. So keep those things in mind as you're choosing songs. Okay, so if you're starting out, probably the first thing that I do when I'm looking at a song for our quartet is, we're all coming up with song ideas that we want to sing, things that we want to find, and we find arrangements and we look at them, things that we're looking for. Okay, if we're I'm going to say a C-level quartet, and that means someone who's scoring, 65 or lower, you want to choose songs that have as few as possible accidentals within the music, right? Anytime you see an accidental, that chord, while it's still in the key, is different from all the other chords, right? Because the key signature is written so that you don't ever have to write an accidental for something that's in the chord or in the key that is as written. So those ones that have an accidental, there's going to be some interesting tuning there that you have to think about. So if there's a lot of those, we're going to consider that a harder song. Scoring 65 or lower, you should be looking at songs that don't necessarily have key changes, because key change is not a requirement. The judges, ask any judge, they're like, great, you did a key change. Don't really care unless you do it well, or if you do it poorly. So a key change is more likely, actually strike that first one of unless you do it well. They don't care if you do it well. If you do it poorly, then you're losing points because you didn't choose music that was appropriate to your skill level. If you did it well, then great. You're not losing points, but you're not gaining points either. So a key change doesn't really get you anything. So key changes, how many key changes are there? Try to choose for beginners, starting out in Sweet Adelines or a barbershop. Minimize key changes or have no key changes. You don't have to have a key change. And try to pick songs that have as few accidentals within the body of the song as possible. Doesn't mean you don't have any, just minimize them. We're currently learning a song that has every part has accidentals through about 4 phrases, and we are well aware that this song may be beyond our skill set at this time because the tuning of those chords is going to be difficult. So look at that. Second thing to look at, chromatics. Do your songs have a lot of chromatics, like half steps up, half steps down, any of those things, because that requires you really to tune. Is it a half step that's going to be a little bit higher, or a half step that's going to be a little bit lower? Half step up that's going to be a little bit higher, half step down that's going to be a little bit lower. All of those things matter. They affect the tuning. So the more chromatics there are, the more difficult that song is probably going to be for a 65 or lower quartet. 65 or higher, you can start looking at those and start considering those. And they're great to consider. Just be aware that they're just going to be harder to tune. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Minor keys. Minor keys don't ring as easily as major keys. And again, does not mean you shouldn't sing these songs. There's some fabulous minor key songs out there. And if you love it and the audience loves it, sing it. Be aware that the tuning is going to be harder. And that is something that you'll probably get a comment on if you're 65 or lower. Higher than that, they're going to also comment if you're not achieving it. So we sang a minor key song, Who Will Buy, minor key. We got comment of it being difficult to tune and that we had some tuning errors. And then we got to the last chord, which is major. And two of the judges wrote, that was an awesome chord. Sing those. So you might want to look at major things that are in major keys and with more major chords. Again, that goes back to the accidentals. They're just ringier. They're easier to ring, especially as you're learning and thinking. Now, if you're a quartet, even if you're new, if you have people who have a lot of experience singing and they have a lot of knowledge about and control of their vocal production, this might not be as important, right? So you have to judge those things. All right. Third thing, I don't know. I'll have to print this out and look at it. The ranges, right? Make sure the ranges are ones that are good for you, not just ranges for the quartet in general, but is the bass going to be going too low and having to get really woofy to hit those notes, or going too high and feeling really strained to get those notes? For the baritone, are they a lower baritone? Are they a higher baritone? How much of the song is the baritone above the lead? So if the baritone's above the lead a lot, they have to have a very lead-like quality to their voice almost. They have to really have a good head voice to be able to pull that off. And then if your lead's below the baritone, they're then closer to the bass. They got to sound more bass-like. They got to be able to have that bass presence for the chords to work because of the structure. Your tenor, right? How high is it going? How low is it going? How is her range? Right? So really look at the whole song. This is why you have to talk to the arrangers that you're getting, or get a copy of the arrangement if someone else has sung it, and sit down and walk through it with them and look at it and say, okay, what are the hard parts, or the high, the low parts, what were the hard parts to tune, before you make a decision on it. And that's why you really want to be in good standing with arrangers to talk and say, hey, here are my limitations. Here are our limitations that we want to work with. Okay, so we said minimize key changes, really look at how many accidentals there are throughout the whole song. Try to sing something that's in a major key. Look at the ranges for all of your parts and how does it fit. Another thing is going to be that you don't have to sing a ballad and an uptune. The judges don't care. Like, you can look at a score sheet and there is nothing on any score sheet that says, did they do a ballad and an uptune? There's nothing that says, was the tempo of song 1 different from tempo 2? There is nothing that says that anywhere. Anywhere. They don't care. Now, as an audience member, we as the audience may be, oh, okay, they're doing something different. That's cool. We can hear them do a swing song as compared to some slow ballad. Great. We're maybe more entertained. But if you did 2 ballads and we were more entertained than you did a swing or an uptune that you didn't sing as well as you did 2 ballads, sing the 2 ballads. Sing the things that work for you, that sound best for you. Arrangers arrange for either a particular group or themselves, and arrangements aren't one size fits all. So you can look at an arrangement and go, I really like how this group sang this song. This is especially true right after uh, international competitions, right? We all go, oh, that was a great song. I really want to sing uh, whatever that song is of the year. But it may not work for your voices as such. Talk to the arranger. Tell them what you're having troubles with, or how your voices fit, and see if there's things that they could revoice, or find somebody in your region. What could be revoiced that's going to work better or ring better? We've taken some songs where the baritone got really high, and that was, for me at the time, really awkward, and the tenor was really high. So we swapped, and the baritone sang the tenor notes an octave lower, and the tenor sang the baritone notes as written. Worked fine, because it was above the lead anyway. Worked fine. Is it as ringy? It's a different kind of ringy, right? And you have to think about that and go, okay, well, is there something else that we might want to change? But it can work, especially if it's only for a few chords as compared to an entire section. Talk to your director. Talk to music judges in your region, or other people who are knowledgeable, singing judges in your region. Have somebody listen to you guys singing the revoice chords. Is it working? How does it sound? Do you need to talk to the arranger? No. Arrangers don't own the copyright to their work. However, they've gotten their arrangement approved by the rights holder for that music, and they do want to maintain a standard of what their arrangements sound like. So some people ask that you don't make any changes. I don't think you have to really be too concerned about that. I would certainly let them know things that are major changes, and ask them if there's things that they would do differently. But I would also say, the only person that you have to worry about is the quartet singing the song the best you can. And you need to make changes, because they can't arrange for everybody. They arrange for a particular group, or particular imaginary group that they have in their mind. I'm learning one song right now where the person that arranged it decided, hey, female baritones, treble clef baritones, they like hitting a high D above middle C. And I'm going to tell you, no, that's not true. We don't. I'm sure there are some. I'm sure there's some baritones that think that's a great note. Chorus that I'm in, that's not the case. Are we going to sing it? Yeah, but that may be where a lot of baritones are taking a breath, because it wasn't the right choice for that baritone group. In an ideal world, we would revoice it, because there may not be a reason for it being that high D. So as a quartet, you definitely want to look at that. What's going to showcase your individual skills more? All right, so if you're scoring from 65 up to, say, 72, 74, they're going to make some different choices, right? Because you're in that B minus to B plus range, and getting into consistently B plus, that's probably almost all going to be tuning to start and sync. So you want songs where you have the ability to really synchronize stuff. So if you're doing songs that are like really interesting rhythm songs, that could be a trouble spot for you. Doesn't mean it won't be a great song for you. You have to be aware. That's where you're going to spend your time, on those interesting syncopations, and those interesting triplets, or those interesting rhythmic changes that happen in the song, because that's part of the song. So you're going to need to be spending lots of time really looking at that unison of sync, and the unison of rhythm sync, right? Pronunciation and enunciation sync of the vowels, and getting the vowels on time, in a unison note, and then getting the rhythm exactly right, so that you're as pillared as you can with each chord. So that's your mental challenge on that one. If you're scoring 65 or below, that song may be a song that you love. It's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. Your choice, right? Again, where do you want to spend your time? I'm not even going to talk about people that are scoring 75 or above. You know what you need to do. You know what's going to work for you, and how to look at music. So if I'm looking at music for the first time, because we're just wrapping up with 2026 regionals, and we're looking at getting into international, and we're going to be listening to a lot of great new songs at international, a lot of songs that we haven't heard done, or interesting packages that are just really fun. And we may come out and say, I really want to sing that song. Things to look at when you're looking at the music. How many key changes are there? How many accidentals are there, on the page per each part? What's the range for each part that you're singing, rhythmic changes that are going on throughout the song. And choose something that's appropriate, that you like singing, that you enjoy singing, you want to get out there and sing, and that you can sing really well. And the other thing is, I would be spending time right now really picking my songs for 2027, like we're talking now for my quartet. We didn't improve as much as we wanted because we tried to go very straight with the songs that we were choosing, which meant we didn't have as much of an emotional connection to them as we did the previous year. So choose songs that you have an emotional connection to, right? Barbershop Harmony Society talks about authenticity. When you can sing that song, can you be authentically in the moment for the emotion that you're trying to tell, the story that you're trying to tell? You don't have to tell us about a loved one who has passed or a relationship that has failed. You have to get us on board with feeling what you want us to feel. So that's probably the final thing I would say for any performance. What do you want the audience to walk out thinking, right? Do you want them to walk out humming your song? Do you want them to walk out thinking that was a cute sketch, or oh, they looked so cute in their little outfits? Do you want the audience to walk out moved in some way? Do you want the audience to cry? Do you want them to laugh? Right? What's the goal? And while that doesn't have to be a big part of the choices that you're making, if you have that like as a yellow sticky on your computer screen or on the music that you're looking at, just remind yourself, we're trying to make people laugh. We're trying to have people have a good time. We're trying to emotionally get people engaged. We're trying to tell the story about whatever it is that we're trying to tell. Keep that in mind, because that's what you always want to go back to. Have fun choosing music. Have fun looking at music. Look at it with a smart eye.